Welcome back. All right, so news of the day video for all you fine people. Yes, second news of the day video, just because there's something strange, and I want to talk it out because it's weird. So ESPN reported that basically Robin Leonard's been fighting a knee injury, that his body is given out. Now this is from multiple sources that are very much reliable, right? And so they're saying, yeah, no, his season's done. So they asked Peter DeBoer, the coach of the Vegas Golden Knights, and he says, no. He expects Leonard to be at practice, expects him to be suited up on Sunday. We'll see, right? Because there's multiple sources coming out and saying, yeah, it looks like Leonard's season is done. Now, of course, in their last game, Leonard gets taken out between the first and second period. DeBoer, after saying that he didn't like how the team reacted after Leonard allows a goal, and it's bizarre. It's a strange one. In a strange year, this is a strange one. And so, call it. Is his season up and Vegas isn't saying it? Or is it not? Is it Logan Thompson's net? Thompson's look good, so, we'll see what happens. But I think that's weird reporting. That they're saying, yeah, it looks like his season's done, and Vegas is saying, no, it isn't. So, yeah. We will see who's right on this one. Apparently, Frank Saravalli called it a long time ago that he heard that Leonard's knee was a lot worse than what was being said. And it does kind of feel like, and this has been part of the discussion as well, is that Vegas might be pushing guys to come back. One thing that I've noticed with Mark Stone is he's not playing like Mark Stone right now. I don't think he's 100%. It does look like they might very well be pushing guys. It'll be interesting to see if, when the season's done, whether or not it's true or it's not, because this is the kind of thing that gossip will pour out once the season's done about whether it's true or whether it's exaggerated or what's happening. But Vegas is never boring. So, and if you're in Vegas, it's never boring while you're there either. Because as a tourist, and I have a feeling that locals, it's never really a boring place to be. So speaking of injuries, the Minnesota Wild hoping Dumba returns for the playoffs. Basically, no chance of him returning for the regular season, and it being seen as like a wild card thing if he comes back, and what that's going to do to help them out. Greenway is with the team currently, but he won't be playing tonight. He won't be playing on Sunday, but he's supposed to travel with the team. So we'll see how long Greenway's out, but he might be back before the season's done. I wanted to report on this. Normally, for guys signing their entry-level contracts, I keep it to just the first-rounders, because otherwise it's going to be a whole board full of names that may or may not ever play in the NHL. But in Seattle's case, Riker Evans was a pick that some people really didn't like. Some people thought it was a real reach and that it was a terrible pick. I remember during the live stream, some saying he'll never play in the NHL. And there were others that liked the pick. So Riker Evans has signed his 3-year entry-level contract with Seattle. And so, yeah, 6 foot tall, 192 pounds, according to Elite Prospects, defenseman, who had 61 points in 63 games for the Regina Pats this year. So, I mean, his totals are good. Of course, this is after his draft year, so this is as an overager. But still, for a defenseman, the totals are good. And so he signed with Seattle. He may or may not play in the AHL this year. He's going to report, and we'll see whether or not he gets into the lineup. But the expectation is it'll be in their training camp this fall, right? And then, yeah, we'll see if he makes it into their lineup for next season. So I wish him the best. With the name Riker Evans, I mean, it's great. It does kind of sound like a game-generated type name. I will agree with people on that, because I know when we look at some of these prospects, there is kind of that sounds like something you'd see in the game. That's probably not a real player. But yeah, I wish him the best. For Anaheim, Sam Carrick is likely done for the season. It's too bad. He had a good year. Keep in mind, done for the season in Anaheim means he won't be back this week, because there's only a week left. A week from tonight is, of course, the final night of the regular season, a 15-game night. I'll be all set to go for that, which means next Saturday, I have the day kind of free. So, looking forward to that. But yeah, so Carrick likely done for the season, and so Anaheim has dealt with injuries throughout the year. Most teams have. Between protocol lists and injuries, we've seen more debuting players this year than ever. We've seen more goaltenders in the league in one season than ever before, and it's by a lot. So we'll see how many more players make their debut before the season's done. Maybe somebody new steps in for Anaheim with the injuries they're going through too. We'll see. As an add-on to the news this morning on Guy Lafleur, there's been a lot of tributes pouring out. Now, I don't do the tribute thing because I do not have the rights to NHL footage. Any tribute that I would do, I can't monetize it, obviously, or you're profiting off of somebody having passed. And then just as a tribute, I don't feel like I could do anywhere near the level of a tribute video that the Montreal Canadiens could put together, that the NHL puts together, Sportsnet, TSN. So yeah, I repost those on my Twitter feed. But in general, it's just one of those things that I did a video on Guy Lafleur 3 years ago. I reposted that on Twitter today as well, and it's tough because Lafleur was a legend. So the Quebec government wants national honors, wants like a big deal of a funeral for Lafleur and to honor him, but they're checking with the family first. They want to make sure that the family's okay with that. This kind of of an honor was bestowed upon former Montreal Canadiens, both Maurice Richard and Jean Beliveau, when they passed. Makes total sense that Guy Lafleur would be added to that incredible list of players. So, yeah, again, as I said this morning, my condolences to anybody affected by this. It's a great loss to the hockey world, and I have never seen anybody say anything bad about Guy. And you'll always hear kind of rumblings about how, well, that guy's a jerk behind the scenes. I never heard that with Guy Lafleur. With tonight's action, there's one clinching scenario. The Edmonton Oilers would clinch a spot with a victory over the Avs. Initially, I wrote on the board, clinch a spot with a win over the Avs, and I thought, well, games have already started. So if I put that on the board, then Avs fans would see that and go, oh, that's a spoiler. I guess the Avs lost. So because I don't know when people are going to check their subscription feeds and when they're going to watch the video. So they will clinch if they beat Colorado. Not that they have. They would clinch themselves a playoff spot. And then if we look at the playoff odds right now, yes, Vancouver, so you're telling me there's a chance, can still be a thing. LA has a 96.3% chance of making the playoffs. Dallas, by virtue of their 3 straight losses this week in regulation, have seen their odds go from 92% to 72.1%. I'm not very confident that they're going to make it. And then if they do, with the way they've been playing over the last week, I don't know that they win a game. Vegas is now up to 32.8%. They were at 5% a week ago. So that's how quickly this can change. Vancouver is at 1.8%. And as I've been saying lately with Vancouver, it's really hard to keep that going. It is really hard to just... I mean, it's easy for us to look and say, if they win their last 12 games in a row, they're in. Yeah, that's not that easy. Florida's on a 12-game winning streak. That's the longest winning streak they've ever had. So it's not that easy. And in Vancouver's case, I really think next year is going to be a lot of fun. There's already discussions of, what are things going to look like next year. That's what I like to see, because I do think this year's pretty much cooked. But if you look at where they are in the points right now, and you look at where they were points-wise outside the playoffs from when Travis Green was fired, it hasn't changed that much. Basically, it just comes back to if you want to make the playoffs, you have to start well. And so the teams that are still above the playoff line, most of them started well to start the season. And so that usually is what you need in order to end up making the playoffs at the end of the year. But it was a good run for Vancouver. I have nothing but pride in what the team did. You guys will see me wearing a Canuck jersey at some point the day after the regular season finishes, because that's a tradition of mine, that the day after the Canucks get eliminated from the playoffs or the day after the regular season ends, I have to wear a Canuck jersey, because that's the day that you don't see people wearing Canuck jerseys. During the playoffs, everybody will be bringing out all their old Canuck jerseys when they're in, and then the day they get eliminated, those disappear. The flags disappear. I don't do that. So anyways, there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I'm wearing the Nordiques jersey because Guy Lafleur played for the Nordiques. I debated about Rangers or Nordiques, and I thought, well, since the Quebec government wants to do the national honors thing for him, I'll wear the Quebec Nordiques jersey. So we'll see whether or not that takes place. But let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. From myself, from Bear, and from Cinnabon, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.